Hi, we're back, and in front of me we have some of the many books that I read as a kid. Only a few of them, of course. We have Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston, Sula by Toni Morrison, The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, and African American Lives, which is a book by Henry Louis Gates and Evelyn Brooks Higginbotham. These are a few books that really meant a lot to me when I was growing up, and along with family lore and like stories that I heard from my dad, these books really made me interested in the many facets of Black life or African American history in general. I think when I read most of these the first time, I was in between 10 and 13 years old, so like in that time span. And then again in high school for a few of them, just because they were assignments. Actually, Their Eyes Were Watching God, I think, was something that we started to read in 8th grade. But it wasn't until I graduated high school that I realized that that whole time I had been reading college level books, and we just didn't really realize it. But I'm really happy that we got the opportunity to do so because it instilled something in us. But I found a lot of the books I read, especially on Black history, to be extremely relatable. You know, one, because I was Black, a lot of these people had lived similar lives to me, if not the same. Because as we've come to know, you know, Blackness is not something that's monolithic, but the books had an extremely profound effect on me. They allowed me to take adventures, sometimes, you know, going back into time and just imagining what it would have been like to endure, you know, the many things that, you know, my parents and grandparents and great grandparents and so forth might have experienced. Or just, you know, hearing family stories and then going back to read these things and seeing how relatable it was to, you know, great aunts or like great grandparents or grandparents who had like, you know, worked in the fields or, you know, picked cotton or cut sugarcane, etc. That even though I'd heard these stories separately from other people, I could go and read similar stories that came from others and see that though we are all very different, the experiences were the same in a lot of ways. You know, with racism, other forms of discrimination. So reading books like this gave me the extra push to go into history and to like take history really seriously. Even though when I got to college, I studied biology, I studied sociology, but eventually I ended up studying history to the fullest. It was just something about it that just drew me back in. Plus, as far as biology goes, I love science, but I hate math a lot, and I'm just gonna be honest with you about that. So history was the first love, I guess, that I went back to.